The first two Star Wars Battlefront games were easily some of the best Star Wars games ever produced. Pandemic Studios nailed the look and feel of the universe, and the combat really made you feel part of an epic galactic battle. It was frantic and fast-paced, and fun on all systems. Now, a decade after the last Star Wars Battlefront game, we get a reboot of sorts. Pandemic Studios has since closed their doors, and now the blaster is in the hands of DICE Studios, famous for the Battlefield series. This beta has been out for a few days now, so here's the good, the bad, and the ugly of it. The good. The visuals. Let's start with the first thing to hit you, the visuals. Running on the same engine as Battlefield 4, this engine has been tuned for the Star Wars universe. There has never been a better looking Star Wars game. They truly captured the locations that they were going for, be it Hoth, Tatooine, or Sullust, that are all available in this beta. With rock formations, hot mud holes, natural feeling cliff formations, and debris littering the battlefield, these maps truly feel organic and real. You really feel a part of these worlds. Also good news is that the game runs and looks great on almost any PC and the consoles. The combat. While there have been complaints that the combat is a bit too simplistic due to the lack of recoil, it actually works well within the Star Wars universe. Each gun actually does feel unique, with different rates of fire, distance, and cooldown time. It never feels like you were cheated just because somebody had a special gun or a special perk that you didn't have access to. No recoil actually creates a fairly equal playing field for all players. Not to mention that these are laser blasters and not normal guns. Moving around during combat is fluid and natural, which is helped by the realistic animations. The sound design. One thing that they absolutely nailed was limiting the musical score. The soundtrack to this game is really just the sounds of the combat. X-wings flying overhead, that laser blast that just barely missed you, or the sound of a thermal detonator going off. All of these add to the immersiveness of the game. While the traditional Star Wars score is still there, it's only prominent through the menu and during some intense moments of the single-player and co-op missions. It all adds up to an experience that makes you feel not just part of a movie, but part of a universe. You really feel like you're a soldier in combat. Ease of use. Every menu feels intuitive. Each mode is separated into cards, and each card will explain what it is with a short summary and a snapshot. Everything is very easy to navigate, and getting into a match is quick and simple. Every time I went to join a multiplayer match, there was almost no delay. The bad. Lack of content. While this is just a beta and not everything has been revealed, what we do see is a bit disappointing. I'm sure everything will be polished to a shine, but there's a severe lacking of maps and modes. From what we can glimpse, there's only a handful of maps at best. One of the things that made the original two games so fun to play was the amount of maps and the variety. There wasn't a ton of variety in the gameplay modes, but it really wasn't an issue due to the amount of maps. We got to experience all the locations that we were expecting from the movies. Here, it looks like we're getting Hoth, Endor, Sullust, Jakku, and Tatooine. There's also no hint whatsoever of any prequel content. Maybe there's more lurking that hasn't been revealed, but as of this time, it's a bit worrisome that we're either going to be left with a limited number of locations, or it's going to be put in later as paid DLC. Controls. First of all, this may apply only to the PC version with mouse and keyboard. While shooting, running, jumping, and other controls are just about perfect, the setup for using grenades, jump packs, and snipers, which are all considered special items, is just inconvenient. Each of those items is mapped to a number key, so instead of a normal shooter game where you would hit the middle mouse button to throw a grenade, you have to hold the 1 button, which is hard in a firefight. To use a jump pack, which launches you into the air, naturally you would double tap the spacebar, which normally would jump. This is actually the same control from the first two games. In this version of Battlefront, you actually hit a number key. All of this just feels unnecessarily cumbersome. The ugly. Thankfully, I did not encounter a lot of bugs during my playthrough. The game did freeze a couple times, but it was generally rare. The only real issue I encountered was trying to play at a 4K resolution where the game would just completely crash. However, this is a beta, so most of those issues can be excused and probably won't be present during the final game. Other than those real minor issues, there was nothing else I encountered. The game did run perfectly smooth throughout.
Stop the rebels from stealing that escape pod.
Overall, the Star Wars Battlefront Beta has shown great promise. It's mostly polished with fantastic combat and out-of-this-world visuals. The only major grievance is the seemingly lack of content. The first two games fulfilled every Star Wars fan's childhood dream by giving them a sandbox to play in. This new Battlefront takes a bit more of a serious tone and is closer in style to Battlefield or even Call of Duty to a degree. Thankfully, however, it doesn't come out feeling like a modern combat shooter just with a Star Wars skin. Based off this beta alone, this game has a ton of potential to be one of the best Star Wars games of all time, and despite some minor issues, the Force is definitely strong with this one.